It is Wednesday, January the 13th, and that means it's time for my news radar. So guys, after several episodes of News Radar where I complained that there just wasn't really much to talk about, there's actually a few things to talk about that might actually be fun to explore and to talk about this morning. Let's start off with what is probably maybe the least kind of exciting, but something that I think will be still fairly interesting to you guys either way. Not that long ago, I did a review of the Anker Soundcore Liberty Airs 2, Liberty Air 2s, I think is what they were called. The naming convention's very, very complicated and confusing. At any rate, they've become my go-to, wireless earbuds. They've been very, very solid. I don't actually have them here because I was using them the other day while I was out and about, and they're in a different room. Really good set of earbuds, and you guys responded to that video pretty well. So that's why I'm going to bring to you guys today the announcement that they are making a more premium version of these earbuds, the Liberty Air 2 Pros, which I think actually look quite nice. They're departing a bit further from the AirPod design. They're taking a slightly less minimal, more kind of engineering looking design to them. I think that the biggest thing about these guys is that they're going to be packing in active noise cancellation, which is something that the other ones, have not had. These guys are going to have apparently improved audio quality, 26 hours of playback time, USB-C charging, all these sorts of really nice things. They also do pack a transparency mode, which is something that I have on my Surface headphones that I honestly would not want to live without. It's one of my favorite features, so having that in an earbud form will be a very, very cool thing. Like I said, they are $130 if you wanted to buy them now, although I would maybe give it a few days because I will have a review of these guys coming. They should be on their way to me here relatively shortly, thanks to Soundcore Anker, those very awesome people. So cool set of potential earbuds coming soon. Stay tuned for the review on that one. So let's jump now to probably a much bigger, much more exciting news story. So for a really long time, the Star Wars universe has been handled by either, in the gaming world, I should be specific here, has been handled by either Lucas themselves or EA. Well, apparently now there is a partnership, and this news being broken by Wired.com, a partnership between the Disney-owned Star Wars universe and Ubisoft to create a massive open-world game that is being called simply Massive. So let's jump over to this article here on Wired, and we're just going to read from the beginning of the article. Today, Lucasfilm Games announced that it is entering a partnership with Ubisoft to create an open-world Star Wars game. The title will be developed by Ubisoft Massive Entertainment, marking the first time that a company outside of EA has produced a Star Wars game since Disney acquired Lucasfilm in 2012. Wow, I cannot believe that's been 8 years already. That is mind-blowing. It continues also in the works as a new Indiana Jones game, which we will talk about here momentarily. Let's put a pin in that, and let's move back over to the Star Wars stuff here. So as they go on to say, it's in very early development. They're saying that they're still recruiting for the project, so this is still really early on. Details are sparse, as they say. Julian Gereitley, is how I'm going to guess that's pronounced, is going to serve as the game's creative director, and he is the guy that is behind the Division 2 and the Crew. So this guy does know how to make open world style games. So we haven't gotten any details about what characters are going to be involved in this game, or what the plot is going to be, anything like that at all. Now, an interesting nugget to this is that EA had previously suggested that the company would have exclusivity on Star Wars games for 10 years. Well, it's not been 10 years. It's been 8 years. So why is Disney now looking elsewhere to make Star Wars games? Is it because Battlefront 2 and Battlefront 1 was received lukewarm? Battlefront 2 was not received well at all. And I think Squadrons has done okay as far as reviews, but I don't know how popular that game's been. It felt to me like there was excitement. It came out, and I don't see anybody talking about that game at all. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm too insulated. Maybe there's a thriving community, but I'm not sure that there is. So maybe that has something to do with Disney looking elsewhere for games being developed for this property. I think just the concept itself is really interesting. So they're not really saying if this is an open world multiplayer game. Like, I'm assuming that it is. I mean, maybe this is something that, you can imagine like a GTA Online in the Star Wars universe. I mean, that could be absolutely incredible. And we're talking about planet hopping. I think that probably has to be something that's going to be part of the game. You're hardly ever on a single planet in Star Wars. That's kind of, even in The Mandalorian, they're jumping from planet to planet constantly. So, the idea of having, all these different places you can go in a GTA Online kind of scenario, make your own character in the Star Wars universe and then explore this world. I mean, Ubisoft is a pretty good place to go to have this thing made, because they do know how to make open world games, whether it is The Division or it's Assassin's Creed, these sorts of things. They do understand how to do this. Super fascinating bit of news. Like I said, it's still early days. I'd love to know what you guys think about this and what you would want to see out of a massive open world style Star Wars game. Let me know down there in the comments. Let's switch gears now and talk about the other thing that was teased in that article, and that is an Indiana Jones games being developed. This time in conjunction with Bethesda. So if we jump over to this article on Windows Central, because obviously Bethesda is owned by Microsoft, we have some news here. Today, Bethesda Softworks announced that Machine Games is teaming up with Lucasfilms Games to develop an Indiana Jones video game. You can check out the tone-setting teaser. This is that teaser here. It's on Twitter, so the quality is not super duper great. But I mean, look, this is just a teaser. You get a lot of little details here. I mean, maybe we're talking about Rome. We've got Bethesda stamped on there. I'm sure for big Indiana Jones fans, there's probably a whole lot of things here. Machine Games here on the typewriter. Keyboard looks to be a pretty standard keyboard. Don't see anything weird hidden in the keyboard. There's probably lots of little hints of things that will be in the game. Down in here, Lucasfilm on the camera. If you're a big Indiana Jones fan, there's probably stuff hidden in here that you're going to like. There, of course, was the hat and the whip. Pretty cool stuff. So the press release reads, the game will tell a wholly original standalone tale set at the height of the career of the famed adventurer. It'll be some time before we have more to reveal, but we're very excited to share today's news. And then if we jump over here to WCCF Tech, there is speculation as to whether or not this will be an Xbox/PC exclusive. Obviously, Bethesda, owned by Microsoft. Machine Games is part of the Bethesda under their umbrella. Will this game be exclusive or not? Well, we have someone on Twitter here talking about how this game is in development at Machine Games. Will be executive produced by Todd Howard. That's a big deal. Todd Howard is the guy that is behind Fallout and these sorts of games. So he's a big name in Bethesda. He's like the guy. And then he's got down here that speculation is that this is one of the case-by-case multi-platform games, maybe even on Game Pass. So this game may not be an exclusive, and it may actually be on Game Pass. Here's another person that has been, fairly accurate on Twitter. Despite the Xbox acquisition, I think Indiana Jones could be multi-platform due to the Lucasfilms involvement / licensed IP. But the fact PlayStation hasn't retweeted it yet could also be a hint to the contrary. So that part is super interesting to me, whether or not Lucas would want to sign on and have a game that's only on that one platform, or if they'd want to be multi-platform. Obviously, we've seen this in the past with the whole Spider-Man thing, but that's a little different because Sony owns that license. It'd be really interesting to see if this game does reach a broader audience or if it will be stuck on PC and Xbox. Also really interesting to know what this game is actually going to look like. Is this going to be an Uncharted-style game? Personally, I think that the blueprint is there. If you want to make this game, really good, maybe go with that Uncharted style game, make it really cinematic, but then also, look, you can dig into the, make it a little bit more detailed, dig into some of the archaeology there, pun slightly intended. Really curious to see where this game will go, what kind of niche it's going to fill. I mean, we don't know if we're going to get any more Uncharted games, so maybe Indiana Jones can just slide right in there and fill that niche for the Uncharted franchise. So guys, that's all the news I have for you today. Be sure to tune in again every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for the next News Radar. Stay tuned for more stuff just like this, and until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.